Oh my god, I just realized what they're doing. The plan is Cold War II will equal Lend-Lease Phase 2, which will then cause England, France, and a number of European countries to go into debt with us in a huge way that will pay off a lot of our debts. This is the plan. Literally, they know we don't have the money to get ourselves out of this, so they're throwing the world into chaos to get money out of NATO. We're shaking down the fucking other countries. That's what this is. And in reality, maybe they should pay. Maybe from time to time, there needs to be a war. Like, there's so many people in today's world that, like, have too much money, have too much stuff, or have too little stuff. And, like, there's going to be some redistribution. She's called the Grim Reaper, and she's a bitch. We've already had the first couple horsemen ride through pestilence and famine. The next horseman of the apocalypse is war. I think I'd prepare for war if I were you. I I wish I could afford night vision right now. That's what I wish. I can technically. I could very easily get night vision for multiple people, but I would have to trade that flux raider to do it. I don't want to do that. I'm slowly rigging my helmet to do that kind of shit. And I'm working on my EDC shit. And the thought is there that whatever I have in my pockets is probably going to be important. And I'm packing basically enough EDC shit for a fucking platoon because I kind of figure that I'm going to end up with people that don't have shit. And like, I'm going to have a fucking purse full of Leatherman rebars and shit, Swiss Army knives. Hopefully, gun wise, there'll be plenty of them lying around when we need them. Like, I've got my own weapons, and those are enough to arm like myself and several other people. But like, if we end up fighting the fucking Chinese on the Mexican border, which I think is a legitimate possibility that no one is talking about, this could go bad. I would start preparing for that. For nothing else, like our southern border is under attack. If you live in the southern United States, I would start preparing now as though a military is going to invade your country. And the reason I say that is because I think it very likely is. Basically, every version I've ever played out of World War III, where Mexico is on the side of anybody else but us, that becomes a big issue. If for no other reason that they send equipment and like Chinese Green Berets and fucking money, like that to the cartel would start fucking with us pretty hardcore. That's why that's on my list of things to look out for. There's a few other things like that, like uh, if you need medicine, stock up on it. We're not going to be able to get shit. That's going to suck. You know, I was just starting to like enjoy the world and shit. I keep thinking about in my head what I'm going to do if the nukes fly. Because basically, everybody that I want to be in one place is scattered over many. And The only safe place in my mind at that particular moment is 2 feet behind me. And there's no way that I can keep grandma there and go get everybody else. That's going to suck. It's one of those things like you beg and plead with your family to do just a handful of things to prepare for the end of the world. And you can't even get them to come up with a plan that doesn't involve suicide, basically. Not literal suicide, but like it's driving from either Tulsa to Texas or Tulsa to Missouri in the end of the world. I don't see either one of those going down well for us. And like option number B and C, if like shit is fucked up in both of those places, is I guess Arkansas and Kansas, but like those aren't really good options. I would find some place on a map to bug out to. And the place that I would pick, look for something that has a water source that's out kind of in the middle of nowhere, that's like a camping kind of a thing or something, like a state rest area, state park kind of a thing, off the beaten trail. You don't want to be on a major interstate at one of those. There'd be fucking, camps of people that are fucking eating each other. And the sort of place where there's, somebody like me that has appointed themselves sheriff because they're pretty good with a gun. And if you kill somebody there, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get killed. I would avoid those places. Other things to consider. Basically, anywhere where trade is conducted, they are going to make you leave your guns outside and have some sort of protection because that's the nature of such establishments. It has been throughout history. Like, best case scenario, they go kind of wild west and like just everybody has guns. And like, there's parts of the country where that is already happening. Oklahoma, Texas, red states, every housewife that carries a purse has a gun now. After the shit on the news, I've seen several things from the news from that shooting in wherever the fuck it was, where the nerd shot the guy at 40 yards. Way to go, nerd! I don't remember his name, but it was his wife telling her side of the story, and like that played on every television to every soccer mom in America. And right now, they're getting J-frame revolvers and taught how to shoot people in the fucking belly. And the reason I say that is because if I were trying to teach women how to use a gun defensively and had no time at all, that's what I would teach them to do. And I would teach them to use their fucking assets to get that close. It's really, really easy for a woman to get close to a man, and it's really, really easy to use a J frame revolver at close range. The only thing is, you only got 5 shots, so it's like one person, really. That's all I would trust that for. But like, I would almost bet you every soccer mom in America now has one of those in her purse and has somewhat of an idea of how to use it, even at least in the manner that I described. That's not that hard to learn. we're going to be going to hell in a handbasket, and our police forces are undertrained and over-equipped. This is going to be real bad. This is how we end up forming a police state. Like, honestly, guys, I feel like I'm going to be Snake Plissken in the next few months. Like, maybe even eye patch and everything. Wearing a pair of guns, having like a kid in tow. We're going to be doing our own version of the Mandalorian across Oklahoma. It's me and my nephew. I have an ACDC ball cap in my purse with a Crusher leather Indiana Jones hat. I swear to God, the end of the world, if that kid is in proximity to me, he's gonna be wearing that fucking ACDC hat and looking like Short Round, because like that's too funny not to do. Oh yeah, and well, that's really a different topic. Let's cut this off here for Lend Lease Phase 2, and I'll do another video for that. Catch me in the next one. Give you a hint. It's about Biden.